welcome to the top of the morning show with your girl TT from the D. Happy Monday, everybody. Wherever you are in the world, I want to thank you for rising and shining with us this morning. You could have chosen any other podcast show to tune in this morning, but you chose us, and I am super excited for that. I want to shout out everybody who just recently shared. I realized that I and my husband and I share the same anniversary date with a few other people. So I want to tell everyone happy anniversary. Those of you that just recently shared and celebrated with your loved one, happy anniversary, ladies and gentlemen. If you are in the midst of preparing to celebrate your anniversary, happy early anniversary to you. I love love. I love relationships, healthy relationships, right? And I was talking with my husband as we just got back from South Beach, which is like our tradition. We've been going there for over 20 years. However, it has been awesome. Actually, no, we haven't been going there for 20 years. I have to take that back. It's been almost 20 years that we've been going. But we've been going specifically to celebrate our anniversary every opportunity that we are blessed to do so. Now, during the pandemic, there wasn't no traveling. So we celebrated home, right? Y'all know how that was in the beginning of the pandemic. Not trying to tell anybody that we are through with the pandemic, because we are not. But I just want to say we had the most amazing experience as far as traveling to our place that we chose. The Hilton Bentley is an amazing resort. If you are ever out in South Beach and you're looking for a wonderful place to stay, you definitely want to try the Hilton Bentley. It's amazing. The stay is always amazing. Shout out to Frankie, who was our concierge, who made sure that everything was on point. Excellent. That's all I can say. It's a total vibe and experience. Shout out to Hotel Victor. They have an amazing spa. Now, the spa at the Hilton Bentley, Spa 101, is amazing. We've had several anniversary massages there, but we tried to do something a little bit different this year. And I'm so glad we did. I was torn between if I wanted to do our traditional at the Hilton Bentley or if I wanted to try something new. And I wanted something new because I was reading up on the Kealma Spa inside Hotel Victor. When I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a whole spiritual retooling, connecting, energizing, inviting. It's so, oh my God. If that was near me, I would go at least once a month. The experience that I share with my husband, Swifty, was just amazing. So we had an amazing time there. We did a lot of amazing things, met some amazing people, and shout out to our extended family, MT and Marcelo out there. Amazing. We just had the best time in Miami. So it brought me to talk about relationships. Well, we still were celebrating last night even. And so over cigars and drinks to end our highly anticipated, exhilarating anniversary weekend, we were talking about love, and I was like, I really want to just really dedicate some time to just plant seeds, plant flowers. And we were talking about putting together a married couples pour retreat next year. And so for those of you that are interested, if you are a married couple or a couple that's in that stage of getting ready to move towards marriage, holla at your girl. I can put you up on what we're going to be planning, give you enough time, right? Put you up on it, because I'm so serious about this that we want to introduce it as I start to put this thing together. I'll make some connections, reach out. And so I really want to do it and introduce you to something that will help guide you to reconnecting with your mate. So this morning, we're going to talk about one of our topics. We're going to talk about a lot this week, ladies and gentlemen. A lot this week. Okay? And one thing that I hear people say, and I don't really know the depths of this for some. Some of you might say, oh, this is very interesting. This is what I need. Some of you might say, hey, we already discussed this, but I want to give you 5 green flags. Now, you thought I was, normally we hear red flags like, oh, there go the red flags. No, green flags. And green mean go, right? So I want to give you 5 green flags. You have a healthy relationship with boundaries. That's a long topic title. I know. But I want to share this, right? Because we know the difference between healthy boundaries and unhealthy boundaries, right? And I think that we don't need a list of unhealthy boundaries because people cross them every day and they invade them, right? But I think we do. When we set out to build our relationships, important to our relationships, we have to be mindful that we want to make boundaries where we know, like, hey, when you get to this point, respect it. Respect her, respect him, respect it, okay? And sometimes we might need a little bit of clarity. Sometimes you might say, I didn't know that was a boundary for you. And some of you might even say, well, TT, what is a healthy boundary? Boundaries are more than just saying, I don't want to, no thank you, or no to things that we don't like, right? It's the ability to have a limit set for ourselves, okay? You may say, well, you know what? I don't really like going, this is just an example. I don't really like going to basketball games, but that's my significant other's thing. And it's a whole season and they go all season long. But just because I want to connect with them, I want to meet them where they are, I'll go to at least 2. I'm just saying hypothetically. So when your spouse, significant other say, hey, you want to, no, I've been to my 2. I told you, I'll give you at least 2. I'll accommodate and I'll accompany you at least 2. And, you choose which 2 that's going to be, or you can let your significant other choose the 2 that is a big deal to them and you accompany them. But you could say, that's my limit. That's my boundary, right? And that means that they understand and respect, like, hey, you did do your 2 and I appreciate that. As long as you're not trying to stop them from enjoying what makes them happy, I think that would be considered a healthy boundary. And like I said, that was just an example, right? I think that we have to work through everything in a marriage: connections, communications, boundaries. Okay, so let's top into it. Number 1, green flag: your no is respected. We kind of tapped into that just a moment ago, but when you're clear on what is a no for you, some people might say, like I have a friend, Kimyana, she'll say that's a hard no. Right? You're like, oh, that's like absolutely, yeah, okay. But when you're clear on your no and it's respected, that creates a healthy boundary for you and your significant other. Keeping in mind that respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, right? We know that from the Queen, Aretha. She sang that beautifully well, right? So that means that put some respect on that no. And it's not like it's coming from a negative place. It's just like, I'm going to meet you in the middle. And you say, hey, well, that's her boundary, or that's his boundary. Okay. And that is a positive green flag, because that puts you in a healthy relationship zone. Number 2, you engage in conflict with curiosity. What does that mean? Curiosity is a way that we can establish healthy relationships, right? When you're curious about another person's experience, you're less likely to make assumptions. And that's when I said, I was using it as an example, that basketball thing. Hey, your spouse, your significant other loves to go to these games. They always, okay, you can't get it. You don't understand it. So your 2, I'll do at least 2 a season, is your curiosity allowing you to say, you know what? Let me take a peek at why he or she, because it could be your wife or your husband, okay? Let me take a look at what that looks like. Why they are so into this. Why is this a need, a must? I'm curious enough because I want to meet them halfway, right? You're inviting them into your curious room, and they're inviting you into the peak of your curiosity, if that makes sense, right? So you can get to know what totally makes them excited, seeing them light up like a child, right? And respecting their boundaries too. Number 3, you can express your needs and wants clearly. Needs and boundaries are important, as we said earlier, to be respected but understood. If I don't know what you need and you're not expressing, or you haven't set any boundaries, then we're going to find ourselves in an unhealthy zone. And when we feel unhealthy, we express ourselves unhealthy. When we feel safe, we express ourselves feeling safe, with ground where we can stand firmly on what we need, what we want, what we desire. And I think it makes it a lot easier because none of us are clairvoyant. We're not going to be sitting here assuming, because you know what they say about assuming. Again, this doesn't mean that understanding from your perspective is the actual answer. You need to dig deep and open yourself up to be able to see what they see through your own eyes, of course, but to be able to connect and express yourself with your understanding or your lack of understanding, giving them the opportunity to share with you what they need and want through their emotional expressions, if that makes sense. Number 4, repair is important. You might say, what does that mean? When anything is broken, damaged, ruptured, it becomes unhealthy. It becomes unstable, right? And then you set yourself up for an unhealthy, unstable relationship with red flag feels of unwanted boundaries, unnecessary boundaries. And I'm sorry, but accountability plays a huge part there. You have to be accountable for owning up to what is not working. See, some people in relationships don't express themselves to their significant other or their spouse, and then they get pissed at them because they're like, well, they didn't even know. But did you ever show that you were unhappy, displeased, wasn't interested? No, but they should have known. Why should they have known? Are they psychic? Why would you expect somebody to know something that's hard for you yourself to even express on the opposite side of that? And it's not fair. It's not fair. If you want a healthy relationship, you got to put in that work. You got to learn how to express yourself, right? So I'm saying it, express yourself, right? Express yourself. Number 5, you're consistent and following through. When you know that you are consistent, you know that you are in a positive place, because you could say, well, hey, if you don't know nothing else, you know that I'm consistent about this. Just like you could give that same kudos to your spouse. Consistency is so healthy. I think it's probably one of the best green flags we could have in a relationship of creating healthy boundaries. Right? You have to learn how to communicate, learn how to apologize when you've done some things that's not right. Setting our own boundaries and respecting one another's boundaries is a very big key piece to respecting one another's space, time, and who we are individually. Yes, we are a couple collectively, but what about who I am as a person? Who you are as a person? It's so important. It's easy for somebody to say, yeah, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that. But are you really sorry? And if you are sorry, then why did you do it? And if you're saying I'm sorry just because that's what's meant to be said in this season and you don't really feel it, then was it really needed to be said? Did you really need to say that when you don't feel that, but you're saying something for the moment? We have to think about how we do things, how we cannot do things, right? As we're creating these healthy boundaries. Learning when to say yes and learning when to say no, and sticking with your yes or your no. Just something to think about, ladies and gentlemen, as we talk about relationships this week. I want to talk about healthy relationships, unhealthy relationships, toxic relationships, the ones you should have ran from the moment of your encounter. You know what that looked like. Some of y'all are just getting out of these unhealthy relationships, and kudos to y'all. Some of y'all act like y'all in prison and you taking life sentences, and I don't even understand why. Because you're putting yourself through it. A lot of times you don't have to, but I got to. Why? And if you have a child or children, that's the number one cause most people use as a reason, excuse on why they're not leaving. Well, I don't want my child to live without their mother. I don't want my child to live without their daddy. I don't want my child to grow up in an unhealthy single parent home. What about the child growing up in a healthy single parent home or a healthy two parent home? What about the child growing up in a unhealthy single parent home, unhealthy two parent home? It just, you really, really got to know what your boundaries are and set that foundation and build upon it, and stop hiding behind things that are not healthy, because you're not fooling anybody. And a lot of these kids are very smart and very sensitive. They recognize and understand that it's not healthy anyway. While you trying to fight to stay together, they're praying you stay apart. Trust me, I know. Anyway, that's all I got for you this morning. I hope that you have a magical Monday. I hope that you have a beautiful Tuesday. I hope you'll tap in for Tap In Tuesday. I got something good I want to share with you. And we will be talking about relationships. I'll see you soon.